LeBron James played one half, and somehow the game was already over. Not because he exploded for 40, not because he went on some insane scoring run, but because everything was already decided before halftime. That is the part nobody is really talking about. When you look at the box score, it does not jump out at you. 18 points, 6 assists, a few rebounds, solid, but nothing that screams takeover. Nothing that looks historic. But if you actually watch those first 24 minutes, it felt different. It felt like the game was never in question. From the opening possession, the tempo was controlled. Not fast, not slow, just precise. Every Lakers set looked intentional. Every pass had purpose. Every movement seemed to force the defense into reacting late. And that is where the story really starts. Because this was not about scoring. This was about control. You could see it early. LeBron brings the ball up, no rush. He reads the floor before crossing half court. A defender shades left. A teammate cuts right. The help defense hesitates for half a second. That half second is everything. Next thing you know, the Lakers get an open look. Not lucky, not random, created. Then it happens again and again. By the middle of the first quarter, something becomes obvious. Utah is not just losing possessions. They are chasing them, always one step behind, always reacting instead of dictating. And LeBron is the one setting that rhythm. Not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly, that is what makes it dangerous. Because when a player dominates with scoring, you feel it immediately. The crowd reacts. The broadcast hypes it up. Everyone knows what is happening. But this is different. This is the kind of dominance you only notice when you step back and ask yourself a simple question. Why does this feel so easy? By the time halftime hits, the Lakers are comfortably ahead. The game already feels out of reach. Not because of one big moment, not because of a highlight play, but because the entire structure of the game has already been shaped. And then something even more interesting happens. LeBron does not come back. He is done for the night. And somehow, nothing changes. The lead holds. The flow stays intact. The Lakers keep executing. The game never swings back, which raises a much bigger question than anything in the box score. What exactly did LeBron do in those first 24 minutes that made the rest of the game feel automatic? Because if this was just about scoring, the moment he sat down, things should have slowed. The offense should have stalled. The rhythm should have broken, but it did not. And that tells you something deeper is happening. To understand that, you have to stop looking at the game the way most people do. Most fans watch basketball through numbers, points, assists, shooting percentages, maybe a few highlights, but control does not always show up in numbers. Sometimes it shows up in what does not happen. No rushed possessions, no forced shots, no panic, just a steady, almost invisible grip on the game. That is what LeBron created in that first half. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Because this was not just a regular season game at the end of the schedule. This was not just another win against a weaker opponent. This was a glimpse of something else, a team that did not need chaos to win, a team that did not rely on one player to carry every possession, a team that looked ready. And if you have been watching the NBA long enough, you know, that is the kind of team nobody wants to face in the playoffs. But here is the part that makes it even more interesting. None of this came from doing more. It came from doing less. LeBron did not force the game. He did not overextend. He did not chase stats. He set the tone, and then he stepped away. Which brings us back to the real question. If LeBron only needed one half to shape the entire game, Lakers team is actually built right now, and more importantly, now go back to that first half, not the highlights, not the box score. Watch the small things, the way the possession starts, the spacing, the timing, the decisions that happen before the defense even realizes what is coming. This is where the first layer shows itself. LeBron is not reacting to the defense. He is setting it up. There is a possession Early in the game, it looks simple, high screen near the top, a basic action every team runs. But look closer. Before the screen even arrives, LeBron glances to the weak side. Just a quick look, less than a second. But it forces the defender to shift just slightly. That shift opens a lane that did not exist a second ago. He does not drive into traffic. He does not rush. He waits. One beat, then he moves. The help comes late. Kick out. Open shot, it looks easy. It is not, because that entire sequence started before the play even officially began. That is the pattern. Another possession. Same idea, different result. LeBron walks the ball up. Slower this time, almost casual. The defense relaxes. They think they have time to set. Then suddenly, a quick burst. A mismatch is created. A big switches onto him. He does not attack right away. He waits again. Why? Because he knows the second defender is about to hesitate. Not commit, not stay. That hesitation is enough. Drive, collapse, pass, 2 points. What you are seeing is not athletic dominance. It is timing. It is patience. It is control at a level that does not show up in highlights. And once you notice it, you start seeing it everywhere. Every possession feels like it is being guided. Not forced, not rushed, guided. The Lakers are not just running plays. They are running sequences. One action leading into another. One decision setting up the next. Everything connected. And LeBron is at the center of it. But here is where it gets even more interesting, because this is only the surface. If this was just about reading the defense better than everyone else, that would already be impressive. But that is not the full story. There is something deeper happening, something that explains why the game felt finished before halftime. Because LeBron is not just controlling what is happening, he is controlling what is about to happen. That is the second layer. Most players react. The defense does something, they respond. The offense adjusts, they counter. It is a chain of reactions. But LeBron breaks that chain. He is not waiting for the defense to move. He is predicting where they will move next. Think about that for a second. Not reacting, predicting. That changes everything. There is a moment in the second quarter. The defense tries to trap him near the sideline. It looks like a good decision. 2 defenders, tight space, limited options. Most players panic there, pick up the dribble, force a pass. LeBron does neither, because he already saw it coming. Before the trap even fully forms, he shifts his angle just enough to open a passing lane that should not exist. The ball is out. Wide open teammate. And the defense looks confused, because in their mind, they made the right play. They just made it too late. This is where the analogy fits perfectly. Everyone else is playing checkers. LeBron is playing chess. Not faster, not stronger, earlier. That is the difference. And once you understand that, the first half starts to make sense. The reason the game felt over is not because of what LeBron did in the moment. It is because of what he already set in motion. Every possession built on the last. Every read creating the next advantage. By halftime, the defense is not just tired. They are out of sync. They are second guessing. And that is the worst place you can be against a player like this, because now even the right decisions start coming late. And late is already too late. Now, here is the question. If LeBron is able to see the game this way, is operating one step ahead of everyone else, does the team not fall apart when he leaves the floor? That is where the real twist begins. Because this is not just about LeBron being great. This is about something he leaves behind, a structure, a rhythm, a system that continues even when he is not there. So when he sits in the second half, the Lakers do not suddenly change who they are. They continue what was already built. The spacing stays clean. The decisions stay sharp. The ball keeps moving. It is not as perfect, but it is stable. And that stability is not accidental. It is the result of what happened earlier. Now think about what that means. If one player can shape the entire flow of a game in just one half, that flow continues after he leaves. What you are watching is not just a great performance. You are watching influence, real influence, the kind that does not disappear when the player sits down. So here is what I want to know. When you watched that first half, did it feel like dominance to you, or did it just feel easy? Because those are not the same thing, and the difference between them might be the most important thing about this Lakers team right now. Let me know what you think, because this is where the conversation really gets interesting. Now, here is where everything comes together, because if what we saw in that first half was real, then it has to hold up under pressure. Not just one game, not just one opponent, across different situations, different matchups, different moments. And that is exactly what starts to show up when you look closer. This was not the first time the Lakers looked this controlled. There have been multiple games where the offense feels steady from the opening minutes. Not explosive, not chaotic, just efficient, possession after possession. And when you compare those stretches to other teams around the league, the difference becomes clear. Some teams rely on runs. They go hot, then cold. They need momentum to win. The Lakers do not always need that. They can build a lead without ever looking like they are trying too hard. That is rare. Look at how the ball moves when LeBron sets the tone early. The first pass is clean. The second pass is quicker. By the third action, the defense is already behind. That sequence repeats. It is not about one player scoring. It is about creating advantages that stack over time. And that is why the lead grows without a big moment. Now, compare that to teams that depend heavily on their star. When that player sits, everything slows down. The spacing collapses. The decisions get rushed. The offense becomes predictable. But in this game, that did not happen. LeBron leaves. The structure stays. The Lakers keep finding good shots. They keep moving the ball. They keep making the right reads. Not perfectly, but consistently. And consistency is what wins in the playoffs. Now, take it one step further. Look at how younger stars around the league play. Incredible talent, incredible scoring ability. But a lot of it is built on reaction. They read what is in front of them. LeBron reads what is coming next. That difference shows up late in games. It shows up in tight situations. It shows up when defenses adjust. And it showed up here just in a quieter way because the game never even got to that point. It was already decided earlier. Now, here is something most people will miss. LeBron is not just controlling the game. He is controlling the energy. Think about how little he had to push in that first half. No wasted movement, no unnecessary drives, no forcing shots. Everything had a purpose. That is efficient basketball. And that matters more than ever heading into the playoffs. Because over a series, energy becomes everything. The player who can control the pace without exhausting himself has the advantage. The team that can win without overextending has the edge. And that is exactly what this game hinted at. This was not about beating the Jazz. This was about showing how the Lakers can win. Calm, controlled, repeatable. Now imagine that in a playoff series. Imagine a team that can set the tone early, build a lead, and then maintain structure even when their best player sits. That is not just dangerous. That is difficult to solve, because how do you disrupt something that is not relying on chaos? How do you stop a system that is built on reading cue before you act? You cannot just outscore it. You have to outthink it. And that is where the real challenge begins. Now go back to the question from the beginning. Why? Did it feel like the game was over after one half? Because in a way, it was. Not on the scoreboard, but in control. LeBron did not need to finish the game. He finished it early, and once you understand that, you start to see this performance differently. It was not quiet. It was precise. It was not simple. It was calculated. And it might be the clearest sign yet that the Lakers are not just heading into the playoffs. They are prepared for them. So now the real question is not about this game. It is about what comes next. Can this level of control hold up against better teams? Can it survive when the pace increases, when the pressure builds, when every possession matters more? Because if it can, then this version of the Lakers is not just competitive. It is a real problem. And if you want to see how far this can actually go, make sure you stay with this channel, because the next few games are going to answer that question.